The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, at its 2025 World Conservation Congress in Abu Dhabi last month, adopted a motion to explicitly address dependence on fossil fuels as a threat to nature. The decision, coming at the wake of a recent International Court of Justice decision holding countries responsible for climate crises, has encouraged the climate activists who expressed hope that these recent developments would have public positive fallout on our COP30 deliberations at Belém. While many vulnerable countries and environmental platforms hailed the International Court Declaration as historical, so far the developed countries such as the United States, as well as developmental economies like India, China, and others, have been mum on the court's resolution. Although the U.S. government is not expected to support it, many of the U.S. state governments, may do so. The COP28 issued a unanimous decision to do away with all forms of fossil fuel from 2050 onward. The science community stated that the decision was too generalized, particularly since it was linked to a host of conditions. It was also pointed out in a recent United Nations report that until now, the track record of developed countries to honor their transformation commitments under the Paris Climate Treaty has been generally abysmally poor. IUCN 2025 calls on governments and civil society to confront a principal root cause of the combined climate and biodiversity crises through supply-side measures. This represents the strongest language ever adopted in a multilateral forum, calling on limiting their reliance on oil, gas, and coal. IUCN Motion 042 acknowledges the urgent gap in international governance of fossil fuel production and pushes states to explore a variety of instruments, including explicitly by a potential fossil fuel non-proliferation treaty to phase out coal, oil, and gas, stop new extraction, and ensure a just transition for workers and communities. Motion 042 also reaffirmed the IUCN's role in conservation by calling for the protection of ecosystems as the source of extraction being principal measure for stopping new fossil fuel expansion and promoting real conservation measures. Building on the climate decision of the IUCN Congress, this historic development comes in the wake of the recent International Court of Justice, ICJ, advisory opinion, which was earlier welcomed by IUCN Motion 141. The ICJ ruling affirmed the obligation to prevent climate harm and protect the rights of present and future generations. Recent COP30 President Ambassador Andre Correo Dolago asserted that the ICJ ruling would play an important role in the negotiations here during the ensuing COP30 negotiations. The IUCN 2025 decision also adopted Motion 038, which calls creation of a treaty providing for the promotion of the implementation of the goals agreed to under the Paris Agreement, including transitioning away from fossil fuels in energy systems in a just, orderly, and equitable manner. However, the International Court of Justice, in its historic opinion, ruled that all states must begin phasing out uses of fossil fuel at once. The court made it clearly unlawful to defer steps to phase out dependence on fossil fuels, stating that states cannot wait to phase out fossil fuel dependence until such a new agreement is enacted, as some states have done in the past. These hopeful measures should also be of help to the exciting climate change measures initiated by distinguished environmentalist Hunter Lovins in her so-called COP30 program to enlist worldwide climate change mitigation advocates and organizations in efforts to influence their members to take accelerated action to promote climate change mitigation actions. In just her first year of operation, she has enlisted more than 1,100 participants. The Haupt Law School at Pace University Center for Energy and Climate is undertaking collaboration with Hunter's COP30 program. Hunter will be presenting her program herself shortly in panel 5 of our side event at 3:30. She deserves our support. Thank you.